Hi everybody, Merry Christmas! My name is Paige Lussier Johnson and I live in New York City and I love to cook. I don't really love to bake, but I do one time of year, and that's Christmas time. So today we're making some gingerbread cookies and we're going to have a blast. So thank you so much for watching my show, and let's go on this little baking journey, and hopefully I don't break the rules too much and hopefully the cookies come out good. This is an old family recipe, so it should be fun. Thanks so much. This is my stove. This is my stove in baking mode. What I do is I have a really big cutting board and I just place it over the stove so that way I have space to roll out my dough and gives myself a little bit of extra counter space. As you can see, it is wood on a glass stove, so this is a little bit of a fire hazard. You just have to make sure that you don't have the oven on or the stovetop on at any time, and you move the cutting board when you're done. But this is a very neat little trick that I use so that way I have a little bit more counter space to roll out my dough when I'm baking. And also when I do like really big meals like Thanksgiving, it just gives me an extra counter space for prepping. So here are our ingredients: flour, ground cloves, brown sugar, cinnamon, allspice, molasses, shortening, baking soda, and eggs. These combined together will make delicious cookies. Start with a big bowl. Then what we're going to do is we're going to take all the dry ingredients except the flour. We're going to add them together. We're going to mix them together. And then we're going to start adding in the wet ingredients. The last thing we're going to put in is the flour. Just so that way we can slowly fold the flour in as we go. It just makes it a little bit easier to get the right consistency. That way it's not too wet or too dry. You can slowly make it happen. So the first thing we need is 1 cup brown sugar. We gotta pack it in there. When we say pack, we mean pack it. We have the brown sugar in there. The next thing that we're going to do is add the spices, because like I said, we're going to start with the dry ingredients first, and then we're going to add the wet, and then the flour. So 2 teaspoons cinnamon. I like cinnamon. It's my favorite. We also need allspice. We're going to need 1/4 teaspoon for allspice. So just a little bit of allspice, and try to keep it level. Sometimes you want to kind of go overboard, but you want to keep it as much as possible. And then we also need the powdered cloves. So we're going to do 1, 2, 3. So the ingredients call for 4 teaspoons. 4. It's a lot. 4 teaspoons of ginger. 4. And then if you want to, you can also add some fresh grated ginger in there too. I like to give it a little bit of an extra kick above and beyond the old school. When I say that I like to add fresh ginger, I mean minuscule amounts, because really the cookies are good without the fresh ginger. We're going to need to add 1.5 teaspoons of baking soda. Be very careful to measure the baking soda as much as possible. Make that almost exact if you can. So take the sugar and the spices and blend that together, and then you're going to slowly start adding in your wet ingredients. So the wet ingredients, we're going to have to work with shortening. You can either buy those really big containers of lard, or you can buy something like this, which is kind of like a little pre-packaged, great for the holiday time cooking. Always look for ways to cut corners. That's my motto. So you're going to add 3/4 of a cup of shortening, and you're going to add in your butter. You're going to need 1/4 of a cup butter or margarine. It's up to you. I usually use regular unsalted butter, especially when I'm baking. we're going to add 2 eggs, and we're going to beat them slightly before we put them in. Then we're going to add the molasses. We're going to need 1 cup dark molasses. Molasses takes a long time to pour. So we just added the molasses in, and now we have to add the eggs in. Voila! Okay, so I want to show you what this looks like so far, and then we're going to start mixing it all together, and then we're going to start slowly folding the flour in, because the flour is one of the last steps with the cookies, okay? We have all of our ingredients, everything except the flour, the molasses, the brown sugar, the Crisco, the butter, all of our spices, all lovely together. We're going to slowly start blending this together. It's not done yet. See those lumps? Got to get them all out. So you got to keep stirring. Keep stirring. Keep stirring. Slowly start adding flour. As you can see, the more flour we put in here, the thicker this is getting. And this is only about 2 cups. So this is after 3 cups of flour. We still have 1 more to go. Now we're starting to look and feel like a dough. And this is a beautiful, thick gingerbread cookie dough. The dough should be pretty stiff. If it's too wet, you can add some flour. If it's too dry, you can add some water, but this is perfect. Nice floured board. Now that I've got the basics rolled out, I'm going to take half of the dough to roll out to save some space. I'll split it up into 2 different batches, and I'll roll the first ones first, the second one second. Put your dough to about 1/4 inch thickness, and then you can start taking the cookie cutters and making your shapes. Now we take our cookies and we put them in an oven for 350 degrees for about 10 minutes. So, the cookies are done, they're cooling, and we're going to decorate the cookies and give them away as Christmas presents. Yum! There's nothing better than gingerbread cookies for the holidays. So, thank you for watching my show and Baking with Paige. So, thank you everyone for watching my video show and cooking with me, baking with me this time. My name is Paige Lussier Johnson, and you've been cooking with Paige. Thanks.